Hello and welcome to the second episode of This is Wiki, the show where we take the XP rates from the wiki and the GP rates and check just to see how accurate they are. Now, just a brief forward about today's video. It seems that some people may be thinking that I may be using these videos to throw flack at the wiki. I wish to ensure you that this is not the case, and I believe the RuneScape wiki to be the most comprehensive and complete wiki of any wiki out there. So believe me when I say that without the RuneScape wiki and the awesome people behind it, we would all pretty much be completely screwed. Now, with that said, let's get into today's video, shall we? But today, I'll be testing out a few of the XP rates stated on the wiki. And for our first one today, we have Orania runecrafting. So, let's have a look here. A lot of people hate runecrafting. I know it's one of those tightly debated skills that a lot of people hate, but I actually fairly enjoy it, to be bluntly honest. So, let's have a look at the expected XP rate, shall we? And we are looking at roughly anywhere between 72,000 or thereabouts. I actually give around about 10% leeway, so looks like it should be more than achievable. Now, to start this method, there are a few requirements, and one is quite high, I'm afraid. As first, you will need to have unlocked the Lunar Spellbook by completing the quest Lunar Diplomacy. And while you're at it, you will also need to complete Dream Mentor too, because first, you're going to need the XP, and second, the second requirement of this is locked behind the spell Spellbook Swap, because it is all but a must-have requirement for this method, and that is unfortunately locked behind a whopping level 96 magic requirement. Now that that's all out of the way, let's get on with checking out my inventory and the method of how I'll be going about this. And first up, I have my rune pouch, filled with Mind, Cosmic, Astral and Lore runes. And for my worn equipment, we have the full remnants of the eye set, graceful gloves, graceful cape, the dust staff, and a spirit shield. You can have it blessed or not, it doesn't matter too much. It's just for a little defensive bonuses so we don't get absolutely shredded on the way there. But do try to keep your weight down as much as possible because you will be using a lot of run energy. First things first, I'd highly recommend hopping over to World 480 to do this, as it always seems like the most popular Orania Altar world. And the more people there are means the less chance you're gonna get smacked. So for the most part, it's just normal rune crafting. You go there, you empty your pouches, rinse and repeat. Except for when your run energy gets a little bit low, you can just cast Spellbook Swap, Vile Vigor, restore your prayer on the altar before you go in, and rinse and repeat, as you are about to see me do here. Vile Vigor, restore prayer, and head down. Something that I would very highly much recommend for this method is to go to your Runelight settings and under the 117, set your draw distance to around 80. That way you can actually click on the altar while you're still standing at the bank. Just like that. So, after 1 hour of runecrafting at the Orania altar, I gained 61,641 XP. Now, it's a bit short of the 72,526 that's predicted, but I genuinely think with a bit of practice this is quite easy to get. Plus, I wasn't even using bank savers, so there's even more XP to be gained there. I also enjoy a bit of runecrafting on the side now and then while watching something on YouTube or such, and honestly the Orania altar is always great because it's about as AFK as you can get for runecrafting, even though it's not that AFK, but then again, skill pretty much has no AFK methods. But on to the next method. The next method on our list would be smithing gold using the gold smith gauntlets at the blast furnace. Now I must admit, looking at these XP rates I'm very skeptical, but time will tell. Hopefully it's not all skepticism that I'm thinking of, and we can get somewhere in the region of this. So first things first, how to get there? Well, all you've got to do is go to the Grand Exchange and click this trapdoor, which requires the start of the Giant Dwarf quest, and you'll ride the minecarts into Keldrim. Now it is worth noting that it does require level 60 smithing in order to use the blast furnace without having to pay an initial fee to the foreman at the start. Also, do note that use of the blast furnace will also require the player to pay a fee of 72,000 gold per hour that will be deducted from the coffer while they are there. Once there, and you have gold in the coffer, it really is as simple as just withdraw gold and put it onto the conveyor belt at the blast furnace, but make sure you are in a blast furnace while to do this. Do this twice, and then withdraw your bars, but make sure you have your goldsmith gauntlets on until you have completed 2 trips of ore. Then switch to your ice gloves and pick up the bars from the hopper. But do not click off the hopper. Click your goldsmith gauntlets back on while the text is telling you that you withdraw the bars. Then you will get the XP drop from the new set of gold that has just come down the hopper. Bank those, and then you can just simply rinse and repeat. Honestly, other than telling you to make sure to keep your stamina up by drinking a stamina potion, there's not really much else to it. It's pretty simple, pretty boring to be honest, but the XP is pretty good. Speaking of, let's get on to that. Now, in 1 hour of smithing gold at the blast furnace, I gained 236,295 XP. Now that is a lot of XP, but unfortunately it is quite a bit shy of our goal of 314,700 XP. Now having said that, I did notice towards the end, when I started to pick up a rhythm, the XP did start to increase quite a bit. So I would say that with a bit of practice, I would imagine these XP rates aren't too bizarre to be bluntly honest, and they're probably quite possible. Just a little note as I said earlier, please do bear in mind that the blast furnace is very click intensive, and if you honestly don't like it, it can get very mind numbing very quick. But to be honest, the XP rates, they're very hard to argue with, they are incredibly good, so I understand why anyone would do this. And now, onto our third and final method today, and the last method for today is crafting drift nets. Now, I've never actually done this method, but I've heard it's fairly lucrative and pretty chill. For 60,000 crafting XP an hour though, let's see how it goes. Now the first thing I'd like to say is the jute fibre, they've not actually been buying very well, so I would say that I've had to either put up the price or wait, but I've actually had to just slow buy them as I was going to the shops, so it's not really a big deal. However, having said that, they are a low farming item, so if you actually just want to grow them yourself and have a little bit of money on the side by using farming, I would highly recommend that, and to be honest, everyone should be doing their farm runs. It's passive money after all. Now with our jute fibre in hand, well, let's get over there. Now honestly, the quickest way to a loom is on Facet Island, and honestly getting there is not that hard, though it does require completion of the Bone Voyage quest. It's honestly just as simple as run over to the dig site, speak to the person on the barge, and head over there. There are other methods getting there, but I just tend to find this the fastest. Once there, withdraw your jute fibre, use them on the loom and start crafting. Honestly, other than that, it's as pretty simple as that, rinse and repeat until you've done them all. Now, the only thing of note I would say is I would recommend using weight reduction clothing such as Graceful, because I did actually run out of run energy doing this because I thought it would take a little bit longer to do them. But having said that, we know for next time. So after 1 hour of doing drift nets, I managed to net myself 61,650 XP, and that is with the target XP of 60,500. This method is pretty much spot on. It's pretty low intensity, and honestly, I could recommend it if you've got an hour to kill. And there we have 3 XP methods that are all fairly similar to their XP predicted on the wiki. The only one that seems a little bit off, to be honest, is the smithy one, but as I said earlier, I reckon with a bit of practice you can really get that down and really get close to that number predicted. And one last thing before I go today, I want to give you all a massive shout out for all the great support that I had on the first video. Honestly, it got more views than I could ever possibly imagine, and I can only thank you all for that, so thank you very much. As before, please like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next one.